you wouldn't know them.
Time to check out more of your underground metal bands, and let's just get right into it. We have Chironics with The Crucible of Brutal Opposition. Okay, I liked where that last part was going. Getting more technical, little bit genty, but mixed with more just kind of like tech death kind of influences there too. Some real noodly riffing in there, liking that quite a bit. These guys are out of Houston, Texas. Chironics is a series of musical tomes that speak of heroes of old and terrifying creatures from legends and myths. Okay, cool. Yeah, sounds pretty good. Production-wise, could be a little bit better. It's solid enough, but it feels a little bit compressed. So if I'm kind of nitpicking one area. Also, again, this is just a snippet, and for those of you new here, I just play about 40 seconds or so of each band to kind of just get a basic idea and see if I want to listen to more, and encourage you all to figure out which ones you want to go and check out for yourself and give these bands your hard-earned money. But yeah, from what I heard, some of the harsh vocals could use maybe like a little bit more depth or something along those lines, but overall, strong start, and I really like this cover art too. But next up, we have Flagg with Diabolical Bloodlust. Cool transition there at the end. Pretty typical second wave black metal. These guys are out of Turku, Finland, and lots of great stuff coming out of Finland, both in terms of black metal and melodic death metal in particular. I've also got a decent like deathcore and hardcore scene there. It's smaller, but there's some good stuff. But anyways, yeah, digging what I heard. Not a whole lot to say. Like, there's only so many times you can say the same things about pretty standard black metal, but pretty well performed. I think the production could be a little bit better. You could either go more modern and a little bit more glossy, or a little bit more raw. But I feel like you're kind of in this in-between zone that doesn't work as well for me. Again, like and it could just be the stream, that it just sounds a bit more compressed. But overall, if you're going for just that grim second wave sound and atmosphere, then I think you nailed it. So next up, we have Cave Growl with Ace of Beer. Yeah. You know, I will never understand why some people just do not appreciate and enjoy folk metal. I think it's such a blast. It's honestly one of my favorite subgenres. Don't get a lot of folk metal out of France, but somewhat unsurprisingly, they're more inspired by Irish and Scottish sounds. And yeah, really fun time. I just love it. This stuff always puts a smile on my face. It's great. Like, if you're in a bad mood, you can turn this on, and it turns things around very quickly. So yeah, very fun. Think all around pretty solid. I'd be interested in listening to more of this. And the rest of you out there, like, stop hating. Come on, get on that folk metal train. You're missing out. But next, we have Dead Hazards with Saline. That's pretty cool. Nice mix of like alternative and sludge, very 90s, like right down to the production. And as a kid who very much came up in the 90s on alternative music with again, I always shout out Q101 in Chicago. I love that sound. So I think you're nailing that, especially those guitar riffs, those kind of like hooky, bouncy guitar riffs. Reminds me of things like Days of the New and stuff like that. Yeah, very not unexpected. It's cool when we kind of get those combo breakers in these lists, but I'm digging it. I'm down with it. So yeah, check out Dead Hazards out of London, UK. Next up, we have Aortiz with Carrion. Okay, very cool. This is out of Lithuania and described themselves as dark and chaotic post-metal. And yeah, definitely coming through. It was kind of cool earlier on. We were getting those more kind of melodic, sort of post-hardcore almost melodic tinges. And then later on, those like eerie strings and leading to a much more kind of sludgy, foreboding kind of turn. And yeah, that's pretty rad. I feel like is this artwork referencing Rasputin and like all of his like injuries and death, because that definitely looks like him, but I could be totally wrong. But anyways, yeah, that sounds pretty rad, up my alley. Again, there was an era where I was listening to a ton of this particular style of music, and so yeah, count me interested. Production's really solid. Performance-wise, it sounded really good. I don't know if I have anything to really nitpick on this one. So, yeah, cool stuff. Next up, we have Violent Answer with Shift. Wait a minute. Okay, yeah. I like that a lot. I am pretty picky with my gent, especially nowadays, because it's such an oversaturated market. But yeah, this is good. This is some good stuff out of Poland, and holy crap, that was fun. That was really fun. Like mixing those typical gent tropes with a really solid groove, solid hook, some solid like little earworm sounds and atmosphere, the vocals strong, like good dynamics in the pacing and making the parts that hit really hit because you've got like a little space before that. They describe themselves as new hardcore, so there's definitely elements of like deathcore, metalcore, new metal, gent, all that stuff in here, and I am a sucker for that. Kind of what I would have wanted for the latest Within Destruction album, I would say, whereas they drift a little too far in a certain direction, even for me. But yeah, this is dope. I will definitely be giving the rest of this a spin. I don't know if it'll get covered anywhere else. No promises there, but I will try to keep a Violent Answer on my radar. So, moving on though, we have Habak with, oh god, Mil Orquidius en medio del desierto. That was probably maybe like half decent, maybe. Yeah, I actually switched tracks there because I just wanted to get a sense of, like, was that more of like an intro thing with that melodic stuff? But it sounds like that's woven throughout. So this is very crust heavy, which I always describe. I love this and I want to make a t-shirt of it, but it's like sad Motorhead is how I describe crust. It's got this like melancholic, sad kind of post-hardcore energy to it, but with those like, you know, crusty D beats and punky energy. And this one in particular, it's very melancholic, very there's like post metal elements woven in there too. And yeah, pretty interesting. I like me some crust. It's not like a go-to genre for me, but I'm always intrigued to hear more. And this one stands out in a pack where a lot of stuff can sound kind of samey. So credit for that. Also a little more on the raw side with the production, but I think it works here. It doesn't have kind of like a compressed sound where it's like they accidentally stumbled into a more raw territory. It feels a little bit more like a stylistic choice here, and I appreciate that. So cool stuff from Habak. Next up is Silvenshine with The Wanderer. Okay, this is a one-man black gaze band, and definitely, especially towards the end there, hearing a lot of Deaf Heaven influence for sure in some of those melodies. I was getting into it. I was kind of banging my head to the more energetic parts, and again, seeing those all-important dynamics for the genre. I also appreciate seeing that these track lengths aren't insane. I think sometimes black gaze can get a little up its ass with these like 11-12 minute opuses that sometimes don't deliver. They can pull them off sometimes, but yeah, digging that. I've been getting kind of more and more into like the black gaze post black stuff lately, especially with that latest Deaf Heaven record, which totally defied my expectations. So this is another, if you enjoyed that, it seems like this would be another thing to add to your listening list. And it's only 4 tracks, so why the heck not? By the way, if you hear like a chewing sound in the background, it's because our new puppy, Hunter, is vigorously gnawing on a bone, and now something that he's not supposed to have. So let me get that. Okay. Anyways, next up we have Boon with Thief. Alright, so I didn't plan on having two kind of similar bands back to back, but yeah, another very kind of black gazy, post-black sounding band. A little bit more on the heavy side with this one, and with some more kind of pure like post-metal-y sounding parts too. But I'm digging what I'm hearing with this one too. Might be a good double feature since this one's also just 5 tracks and they're all relatively short. I'm liking this album art too. Not sure where they're from. We've got Lion's Jawbone is their like label, and they're out of Ontario, so maybe they're Canadian. I am not entirely sure, but I was digging what I heard. I think the production is really strong. Interesting to also see Scrams and Screamo in the tags too, so there might be even more under the hood than we got into with just that little snippet. So again, please do check them out. And I'm realizing too that Lion's Jawbone also covers Moray, which we have talked about previously, friend of the channel. And actually, if I recall, some of the artwork up on the wall here, including this skull, I believe is done by the artist from Moray. Sent that to me a long time ago. Very much still appreciate that. But anyways, let me put that back, and then where are we at here? Okay, next up we have From the Ages with 3. Alright, cool stuff there out of my own Portland, Oregon. And yeah, just jammy, stoner, psychedelic kind of stuff there. Really digging that bass, digging those wailing guitars. Just definitely a good, we're just past 420 as I'm recording this, but this would have been a good listen for that time too, for sure. Well produced too. Like, I feel like you're capturing like what you would expect from a live performance from them, but like crystal clear, everything's coming through too. Hunter seemed to be trying to check out what was going on there too. Oh, he's so big now. He's so big. Yes, he's a big boy. But yeah, what did you think? Yeah, was it good? Okay. Good boy. Oh, he's too big to hold like Bandit and Harley were. But anyways, yeah, good stuff from the Ages. Then we have Soulvapor with Soulvapor II.
They suck my soul, and I've always been what everyone who cares away. I don't know what is such a world of this battle inside of me, inside of me. Why I'm still here, oh please help me. Just know I'm still here.
Now, that's another interesting one. I'm not even entirely sure how to describe that. definitely like metalcore, post-hardcore elements. We got some gent coming in later on, but also, yeah, a lot of stuff there. They describe it as spiritual metal music for the soul, and maybe that fits better. They also have progressive in the tags, so yeah, another unique one. Yeah, I'm trying to wrap my brain around that. I think the production could be slightly better. Again, that's kind of a nitpick, but as far as like what I was hearing from songwriting performance-wise, very, very intriguing. And yeah, another one I think I'm gonna hopefully find some time to actually get through. A lot of time, I don't have time to go back and like listen to these all the way through, because I have the number of suggestions I have at this point is insane. My inbox overfloweth, which seems like a good problem to have, but is kind of overwhelming, frankly. So, but I will try with this one. That sounds pretty rad. And then we've got Panzer Creek 666, who I believe we've covered before, with Day of Genocide. And fair warning, clearly from the album art, we're getting in pretty edgy territory here, to say the least. Definitely some raw, dark stuff to go along with seemingly the content here. Far be it from me to say extreme metal should have barriers. I'll say, like, even as somebody who kind of welcomes all and any sort of like dark subject matter, I remember being in middle school when Columbine happened, so that kind of hit close. Like that was really the beginning of a lot of crazy stuff, and so that may be a good topic. It's always a little interesting to me. Like, I don't know what the intent here is. It just to point out the just awfulness of it, or is it to glorify it in some way? I don't know. I have a lot of mixed feelings about this kind of stuff, and I think it's worth talking about. I'll never be the one though to be like, regardless that this music shouldn't exist or whatever. I'm very opposed to censorship in like 99.9% of cases, but musically sounds heavy, sounds ugly, sounds dark, and yeah, I'm just curious. I'm really curious now. Is there any sort of blurb or clarification around kind of what the intent is? If the band wants to sound off, I'm genuinely curious too, in whatever way. Just be forthcoming about it. So yeah, Panzer Creek 666, getting dark and extreme. And then we have The Spoiled with Living Ghosts. Another big combo breaker there. Hey boy, what you want? Some dark wave out of Italy, and made me think of the goth kids dancing from South Park, which is a good time. I've been getting more and more into this style, post-punk and goth music, which has never truly been my thing. I've always liked things on kind of the fringes of that venture more into another genre, kind of like Skinny Puppy, Tribulation. Things that dabble with elements of the style, but kind of do their own thing too. But more and more I've found myself kind of going to enjoying things like Depeche Mode and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, this seems like good timing for that. All right, y'all, that's enough for now. I think there's always so much more coming in, so it may even be that I have another episode out pretty soon. We'll just have to see. But thank you for supporting this particular segment. Please consider joining the Patreon or becoming a channel member if this is your favorite segment, to support it to continue, because the ad revenue ain't doing it on these ones. That is more like machine head runs so that videos like this can walk or crawl realistically. But yeah, check out the playlist. There are plenty more of these as well, and I will see you in the trenches.